What's up, everybody? And you are listening to the best of the Media Mike radio show. I am your host, the Media Mike Speaks, sponsored by New Justice Media, where we are the voice of the everyday citizen. The time is now 27 minutes past the hour here in the Lone Star State. So let's get to it before it's too late. All right, good people. A few of my subscribers sent me this story. And people, we really need to look at the family court system. We really do. Now, the structure is intact, how they have it set up, but the system itself really needs a complete overhaul because I don't think things are going to get any better here. And if we don't do something soon, we're going to have, I do fear, more tragedies or incidents like this. So this incident happened in Maryland, right outside of, Virginia and Washington, D.C. And you have a former Washington County Circuit Judge by the name of Andrew Wilkinson. And the subject, I guess the plaintiff in this case, is Pedro Argote, Argote. And, it sounds foreign. So I don't know if he immigrated here from years ago. Don't know about that yet. But anyway, so he and his wife, estranged wife, were having problems. Now, Argote is 49, and he shot and fatally wounded 52-year-old Judge Wilkinson. So judge didn't make it. Now, Argote is on the run still. From my understanding, he has not been found. He's now a fugitive and wanted by the United States Marshals. Now, authorities said the shooting occurred around 8 p.m. And sheriff deputies found Wilkinson with gunshot wounds. He was taken to Meritus Medical Center where he succumbed to his injuries, the sheriff's office said. Now, he was gunned down in his driveway. Now, as far as Argote's knowing where he lived, now that's a mystery to me. How did he find out where the judge lived? That's interesting. Did he wait and follow the judge? I don't think judges' personal information is out there like that, but maybe he somehow found it. I don't know. So Wilkinson, the judge, was gunned down not long after he finalized Argote's divorce and placed the children, ages 12, 11, and 5, and 3, and four kids, in the care of their mother. The judge found that there had been cruelty of treatment in the relationship and that the pair had irreconcilable differences. Now, the judges, he ruled on that. That was a personal opinion because you have to have actual finalized proof. You should, but I say you do. But in the judge's case, you don't. They could just decide. Now, Pedro was not at the hearing on Thursday, but right after that is when he tracked the judge and followed him home. As he exited his vehicle, he proceeded to open fire. Here's the thing now. Pedro's estranged wife. Now, the court granted Eugenia Argote a temporary protective order against her husband in June 2022. Shortly after. Now, he filed for divorce. That's the thing. He filed. Now, if normally how this works, good people, if the person files first, see, they are actually pretty much the plaintiff. So they're granted, I would say, more leeway here as far as the person being the defendant. He filed first. But I guess the court didn't see it that way. Now, in her request, Eugenia, the estranged wife, she wrote her husband was emotionally abusive and she was afraid to be near him. Now, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, this is kind of strange here. Now, she goes on to quote, "I have been trying to get out of this relationship for the longest time, but for the fear that he will try to get custody of the kids," Eugenia Argote wrote in the petition obtained by USA Today. Now, unquote, that doesn't make any sense. How are you trying to get out of the relationship and you're afraid he's going to get custody unless you know something that he may be able to win over? Because normally, in America, the children will go with the mother. How unfair that may be, but it is what it is. I don't think that's totally right all the time, unless the father can be proven to be unfit, because a lot of times in America, our courts give these children to mothers who are solely unfit. So that throws out what's in the best interest of the child. But we all know where that's coming from. I'll get to that in the at the end. So that's the first thing I find interesting. What do you mean you're afraid? What do you mean you've been trying to get out? Just go file. Why haven't you filed for divorce? You were granted a temporary protective order. Now, she could have filed for divorce, and the courts most likely would have granted a protective order. He could not be able to come to the home that she occupies. She would then occupy the home with the children. Why didn't she do that? See, things that make you go, Now, she went on to say her husband had carried his weapon at all times. Legally, I'm pretty sure he was legally right to carry. And he would not let her use the couple's car or have access to their shared finances. I can't get out of the house without his knowledge, she wrote. Okay, he has to go to work, so I don't understand what she's talking about there. I don't know. Now, filings in the divorce case show that Eugenia Argote had accused her husband of stealing money from her and once sought a protective order against him, mentioning that he carried a weapon at all times. Okay, we know that. But here's the thing. Ma'am, your husband doesn't steal anything from you because you're married. It's community property. What's yours is his, and what's his is yours. So I don't know what you're talking about. There's no stealing money from you in a marriage. It is both of you all's money. That's how it works, ma'am. Now, to me, that was a baseless argument. Did not make any sense at all. But according to her, he stole money. No, he didn't. That's your husband. That's no stealing at all. But here's the thing. But she eventually dropped the complaint, good people. She accused her husband of stealing money from her and once sought a protective order against him, but dropped it. Things that make you go, Now, goes on to say they were in financial distress and owned a digital advertising business together. Eugenia did not respond request for comment. So, the business is together, but the money he took from you, he's a thief. He stole. Stop it. Stop. Now, the late judge, wrote in a March opinion that testimony he heard in the divorce case leaves this court with the uneasy sense that the father engages in absolute control over mother, their finances, and their lives, unquote. Now, this is what, I hate to say this, Judge, that was a biased statement you made, sir. God rest your soul. R.I.P. But we all know where this was leading to here. For you to make such a baseless opinion. Someone has to be in control over something in any marital situation, unless you're both out of control. I don't know the situation here. I just know only on what is displayed, what according to the estranged wife, what she said, or according to the husband, what he said, and according to the judge. Now, Albert, the husband, pleaded for the public's help in locating, let me go back. The judge pleaded for the public's help in locating Argote, but the sheriff's office said not to approach him. So, he owns a Mercedes-Benz, and we don't know where he is. Don't know where he is. He's on the run. I'm pretty sure, he knows he's done. He knows he's done. Anyway, this guy, I guess he felt he had nothing to lose. He was pushed to the brink. So let me backtrack on that. But anyway, Albert, that's not the late judge. So that's the sheriff's office. So now the sheriff's office declined to say how they identified Argote as the alleged shooter. Well, that's pretty much not hard to figure out, but they're not going to say at that point. But anyway, he's on the run. Of course he owned a handgun. But he had not made any previous threats against this judge. Now, Michael Gast, an attorney who represented Argote in his divorce before terminating his representation after about 6 months, said Argote was a quiet and unassuming guy whom he did not think was capable of violence. Guy said the biggest issue in the divorce was the custody of the couple's children. Yeah, which I'm pretty sure you, Mr. Gost, the attorney, did not want to assist him with because you knew how the judge was going to rule. Now, his attorney went on to say he was very upset about the possibility of losing his children. Why wouldn't he be? I don't know what to do, she wrote. Please, I need help. That's what, the guy said, look, mate, hey, help me. Now, Pedro Argote asked that Thursday's hearing be postponed, noting in the request he and his children would suffer severe prejudice if he was not allowed more time to prepare key evidence and witnesses, according to court documents. Here's the thing. That's the key. Pedro, the father, he asked the court, could you at least postpone to give me time to gather evidence? Because without it, he is fearing severe prejudice, which he deemed to be true. What was wrong with that picture? If he had something to know that would help him win the case, what was wrong with the courts granting him that time? What's wrong with that? There you go. Now, I'm not saying the court and this judge brought it upon themselves, but sometimes, hey, universe comes back around. I always say this, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Now, about this late judge, he was sworn in as a circuit judge January 10th, 2020. According to his biography, he was born in Guam in 1971. He received a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of North Carolina in 1994 and graduated from Emory University School of Law in 1997. He was admitted to the Maryland bar that same year. His family did not immediately return calls for comment. Now, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, a Democrat, said in a statement that he was shocked, heartbroken, and sickened by Wilkinson's killing, unquote. Okay. Yeah. It goes on to quote, he was the victim of a cold-blooded, vicious, and targeted attack. Yes, he was. My heart goes out to the Judge Wilkinson's family, and my prayers are with everyone who knew him, loved him, and served alongside him, unquote. You see, the thing is, people, these politicians and things, they know the deal. They know. But are they willing to do anything about it? No. Now, according to the U.S. Marshals, which protects federal judges, jurors, and other members of the judiciary, said it investigated more than 1,300 threats and potential threats in 2022, according to its figures. Senator Ben Cardin, Democrat of Maryland, offered his condolences in a statement saying there's no excuse for this sort of violence. No, it's not. But when someone is pushed to the limit, you see, the rule of law is what makes our society work, according to this senator. The rule of law. But if you're going by that, then it should have worked. But if you're going by your personal opinion, no, it will not work. He says it may not be perfect, but individuals like Judge Wilkinson work to make it better and more just every day. His passion clearly was for serving his local community, and for this, Judge Wilkinson will be sorely missed, unquote. Yes, he probably will. And that is a matter of opinion based off of the rule of law is what makes our society work. That is a matter of opinion. Because if you went by the rule of law, it should work. Now, this is not to celebrate this judge's death. This is a heinous crime and totally unnecessary, in my opinion. But we cannot predict how anyone will act in these type of situations. You see, our family court system needs an overhaul. To just award custody based on a judge's opinion is completely biased and somewhat outdated, in my opinion. To allow a person, mainly women, to just claim abuse is absurd without any factual evidence. Now, this is not to say that it didn't occur, but we all know how women in the West are allowed to get away with this biased type of accusations. According to the Duluth model. Look it up. Now, this guy Argote that's on the run doesn't seem like he's from America. Now, he could be. I don't know. I say this because certain cultures just don't go for this type of unfairness in the courts. And they will do what they have to do to maintain the family structure. I believe our family court system really needs to be looked into. We have come so far that, women have equality, so it seems. But the old way of doing things when it comes to family court remains the same. So, which raises the question, does our family court system really care about the best interest of the child or the family structure? Things that make you go, But as always, I always say follow the money. Until next time, this is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker. Subscribe, share, and like to keep me rocking on the mic. Have a good night.
Understand you soon, it won't be long. Keep on, keep on.